Hello, 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 hello. This is episode number 18 with Truth Be Told podcast. I'm your host, Brittany, and today we got a good one for you. I have a dear good friend of mine joining me today who I have not talked to in years, so I'm excited about it. His name is Rufuss Hobson. Today, he's going to be discussing episode number 18 called Pressure into Power. How are you doing today, Rufus?
I'm doing good. It's a pleasure to be on your platform. I've
I'm
been waiting
glad that
for it.
I'm glad that you excited and that you even accepted my invitation to come on.
Yes.
You know, we go all the way back. I have not seen you in so long. It was funny because I was thinking about you as I was thinking
Mm-hmm.
about my interview today. And I was like, gosh, I haven't seen Rufus since, well, Bojangles?
No, it was. I remember. It was just. It was one time before Bojangles because I
Yeah.
was thinking. I was walking to a funeral and you had Layla in the back seat, and I was right across the street before I went to the funeral, and you had gave me a ride, and that was since before Bojangles, and that was it.
That's been a while though. I remember that, Rufus.
Mhm.
Like I
Mhm.
remember that. Like it's been a while. So just thank you. Thank you so much for coming on the show
You're
today.
welcome.
I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
everything. I just want to let the people know before we go into the interview, guys, if you're new to my channel, please make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Tell somebody about
Mhm.
it. Like that helps me and Rufus on our platforms.
Right.
Just letting us know what we can do to serve you guys, because that's what we're doing. So
Mhm.
today, before we go into the topic, Rufus, let the people know what you got going on and what you're doing today.
I am good. I'm Rufus. I am a radio host. Um, I come on air Monday through Friday at 6 Eastern, and that's basically about it. Author, writer, all of it. So
God is good,
that's just
ain't he?
it. God is good.
Yeah.
God
So
is
this
good.
topic that we're talking about today, I knew that you would be the perfect person to talk about because
Mhm.
all of us know about some type of pressure,
Mhm.
whether it's good pressure or bad pressure. I think it's all about the mindset. You know, guys, I'm always talking about
Right.
your mindset on here because if your mindset is not right, then
Mhm.
depending on your circumstances, you might not be able to come out of it. And
Mhm.
so I just want you to dive into it a little bit. When you think about pressure or you think about pressure into power, what is your definition of that, or what do you think of when we talk about that?
I say probably about maybe 3, 4 years ago, a topic on a broadcast, turning your pain into power. And it's basically just that, turning, all of what you going through into into that power. But, and then I thought about it, but you got to not wait to all of it turn into pain, not all of it turn into pressure, and have all of that build up. But as I grew and as mindset changed or whatever, release as you go on and use all of whatever as teaching tools, and then turn all of that into power. Turn all of that into you know whatever whatever you need to do to strengthen yourself to keep going.
Right. It's funny you
Mhm.
said that because, I talk a lot about pain and,
Mhm.
coming out of pain. And when the reason I talk a lot about of it is because I'm really going through it. I'm coming out of the pain. And I
Mhm.
like to show my story or tell my story to the audience so that they can know that you can do it. I think it's
Mhm.
just making sure that you realize that it's a part of the journey. It's
Right.
something that we have to go through, and that's the hard part. That's definitely the
Mhm.
hard part. Sometimes us not wanting to go through, those particular obstacles, and you never know what somebody's going through. We put a smile on our face every day. Most of the time, I don't put a smile on my face. I don't went to the bathroom right before crying over something and like, let me get myself together. Let me get myself together. You know, what can you tell the audience, Rufus? Like, give us an example of a time that you were going through one of those points of, you know, turning that power into pressure. How did you, you know, how did you go through it? How did you maintain it? Because a lot of people, they can tell you it's easy, just follow these steps. And guys, let me be very frank with you. I'm not on here saying it's easy because it's hard as hell. It's hard as hell.
Exactly. You're right. Exactly. Because just recently, last year, I had a surgery I had a procedure in June, and then I had the procedure in June, rested at home, and you would think that you would think that the people that was around you, the people who see every day or whatever, would be there, you know. But who was there? Nobody. But then,
Nobody.
but you was you know, and to be honest with you, it wasn't that you was expecting, but you realized, but you knew who would be, you know. It wasn't like, okay, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna write down a pen and paper who I would call, who I would whatever. But you would think, okay, you know, such and such, whoever I help, this person, this, that, whatever. But you know, they wasn't. But then again, turn around, I had to have another one in November. Same situation. That second time around was really the breaking point. Like, you know what? This happened again
Right.
in the same city. Okay, you know what? I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for that. So that second time made me realize, okay, you know what? Once I heal, say less.
Right. Right.
Say less. I don't got time. No, I see how you work and operate. I see how you work and operate. That's how I'm gonna work and operate. As soon as I get back on my feet and heal and move forward.
You're right. I think
hmm
I think sometimes when we're going through it, we have so many type of emotions.
hmm
And sometimes it's hard to, we're not playing victim, but we're just going
hmm
through it and we just need
Right.
somebody to help. What I learned and still learning as I'm going through
hmm
different obstacles is that the only person that's going to always be there, you already know, the man above.
hmm
um,
hmm
Higher power, whatever you guys believe in, I believe in God.
hmm
You know,
hmm
I know there's a God.
hmm
You know, he just keeps, you know, you said that you had a surgery and then you had another
hmm
surgery. And,
hmm
you know, God gives his, you know, you are one of his big soldiers. And
hmm
so sometimes when God is crushing us, because that's pretty much what he's doing, he's
hmm
crushing us, then he's crushing you, but he's crushing you to make you into a better person so
Right.
that you can serve somebody else and tell somebody else
hmm
that story.
hmm
Because how can you tell somebody a story if you ain't never been through nothing?
Right.
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 And you got to go through, I mean, if you ain't been through nothing, you ain't been living long enough. Let me just say that.
You're right. You're exactly right.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna go through stuff. And I'm learning that because I'm always like, gosh, God, why do you keep, like, for me, Rufus, it's just been a lot. It's been a lot of like tearing me down, tearing me down, tearing me down. And what made me start like tearing down the layers of pretty much figuring out why was he pressuring me so hard was when my grandmothers died. You know, in 2020, that was
hmm
just like a big opener for me because I was like,
hmm
okay, my number one support system, the lady that has been there for me, I mean, at the drop of a dime, night, weekends, you know, them grandmas that you go to when you get out of school on the weekends and during the week and any
Right.
holiday
hmm
and in the
hmm
summertime. I
Exactly.
mean, she was that. She was everything. She was definitely my second mom, but she was more of not just being my second mom. She was like my crutch, my support, my everything. And so it really just opened my eyes. And I said, okay, God, now, I really don't have no reason to peel back those layers and figure out, turning that pressure into power and figuring out what it is that you're trying to tell me. And so as I'm learning, and as you're learning and you're going through some of those obstacles, Rufus, what is something that you can tell some of the people as they're, going through what they're going through, whether they're young, white, Black? I mean, what is it? Some encouraging words and some realness that we could tell the people about it.
To be honest with you, even whenever I, said what I said, knowing the people who you have around, you got to have those certain key people with you. And prior to, I said, the book that I wrote, I ain't even have it in there, and I learned it from a pastor that it's certain people that you gotta have in your circle. You gotta have somebody to tell you, to be there to tell you the hard earned truth. You gotta have somebody who know more than you. You gotta have somebody who um somebody who is, very intimate, whether it be a spouse or whatever, or somebody who is, that'll come to you one on one that you can really talk to and be straightforward with. Have those key people, around you to help pull back and refill and whatever, and that will help you, refill and pull back, and help you grow and push forward because and I know you, not only men but even women, if we are, I mean, as grown-ups and adults, we all had that, that time to where we could just sit in a quiet room before we go, go in the house.
Right.
Or you sit in the car and be quiet. That's probably our one-on-one time to refill. That's maybe whatever, if that's just our lonely time or whatever, maybe whatever. But those key people, if you got those good circle or whatever to pour back into us to refill, recharge or whatever, then hey, get those people around you. And that's why I said, during those, trying times that I had last year, I knew, whatever, because God put them people in my life, and that's helped. Those people was a foundation, and those people was my circle that helped, push forward. Okay, I knew, hey, because they was God sent. They was, help me get through whatever.
Right. So you said last year you pretty much went through a time, I call it your crushing season. I feel like go ahead. What did you say?
No, because even that second time, whenever I had that second surgery, I had it like 2 days, no, about 3 or 4 days before Christmas. And then on New Year's Eve I failed. And so none of that, all of that stuff was like, I feel that last year was like, it was like God. I mean, I knew what was going on, but I was like, okay, God, it was for me to push forward to, and then somebody just told me just today, like, the decisions that you make, and I see a whole, different. And it was one of the people that I could count on. They was like, cause last year, what you telling people, you would have been all for what, you would have been like, yeah, I'll do this, yeah, I'll do that. But like, the person that you are now, nah, you put stops to stuff, or
Right. Well, Rufus, you always had a good heart.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And people can take advantage of that.
Exactly. And I allow that. And that was that was me then. I was, a good hearted person that allowed people to take advantage. But now it's the same person, but I'm not allowing people to take advantage of, of that. And it's a difference.
Right. And
but
see,
even so, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and maybe that's why, and I don't know, only God knows, but sometimes he puts us through stuff, like you said, to learn the lesson, to push forward. A lot of people, when they're going through rut or their pain or their crushing season, they get stuck
Mm-hmm.
in it. And
Right.
what I'm trying to tell you guys on this particular episode is that it's not a destination. I mean, it is a journey. You can't get stuck in it. God is trying to pull you out of it to the other side. It's a reason behind it. I mean, I'm same way when I'm going through my stuff. It's always mountains and valleys. I'm like, oh my gosh, God, what are you trying to tell me this time? What is it that I can do to make sure that I'm fulfilling your purpose or going through that to fulfill the promise to give to somebody else? Like everything that I'm talking about pretty much on this podcast is stuff I done been through. You said you wrote a book about some of the things, pretty much what you've been going through or your purpose behind the book. What was the meaning? What made you write that book? Because that's a testimony.
Well, it was, and I'm gonna send it to you and your husband. Is Think Like a Man of God, and it's called Becoming and Understanding Men of Valor, Love, Honesty, and Integrity. And so it's been I've been writing it for about 8 years, and I just finished it last year. So
Congratulations.
thank you. And I mean, it's just a growth for, of course, basically for men, but women as well. And so that's basically it.
Yeah, so it's pretty much a growing mechanism that you're giving women to. Is it kind of like a step by step, or just kind of like some of the things that you've been through to witness to the people, to share to them what they can do to come out of certain
It's
things?
basically a self-help, a teaching tool for a growth book for men, and then it's a teaching tool for women to help understand you know the background and growth for men.
Okay.
For that.
Okay. Well, I'm excited to get the book. I'm excited to read it. Definitely know you got some jewels in that particular book. Some of the things that I wanted to let the people know about turning pressure into power. I keep saying that you just have to know your season. You have to know exactly what you're going through, and you have to just remember that there's always another side to that. And when you're going through it, I mean, the self-help, the affirmation, sometimes you don't want to hear all of that.
Exactly.
It's not easy. That's what I was saying. Like, it's some people like, oh, you get on here and you do step one, and I'm like, no.
And I tell people all that, I'm of course, and I love God, I love Jesus and all of that, and I live, a saved life or whatever. But sometimes, I pull the layers off and I'm just me, whatever. And if you catch me at a bad time, you just do that. But I'm not, and maybe I have to apologize or whatever. But it's just, you know, I sometimes you don't want to hear all of that. And I told my radio listeners that the other day. Sometimes you don't want to hear the affirmations or whatever. Sometimes you don't want to hear, this, that, and the third. And that right there is a healing time, for you. I just don't want to hear that. I just want to be quiet and just chill and whatever. And that is a healing for you.
Mm-hmm.
If that what it takes for you to heal and whatever, that's what it takes.
I'm gonna tell you, Rufus, I do it a lot. I've been very open about me going through depression. It's something I deal with, and I've been dealing with it since Daddy's been gone. But when I go through it, I kind of just go to myself. I go like I've been like this for years. So if I'm cutting people off, or I ain't talking to you, or you getting in your feelings, I don't care no more. Because I had to learn how to do what was best for me first. And I had to learn, because I felt like God was crushing me at a young age. I mean, I still feel like that. I'm like, what is it that God is trying to show me? But what I'm realizing is it's just a testimony. It's a testimony. And even though I've lost a lot of loved ones along the way, I can teach people how to keep going and prospering through the pain. Because what I want the audience to know is we just can't sit in it. I see so many people that go through stuff, and me included. You'll go through something, and you're scared to come out of it because you don't know what's on the other end, or you're scared to even deal with the pain because it's unbearable. You know, everybody can't deal with stuff like that, you know, and it's hard. It's definitely hard. What are some ways that you manage pressure when you're going through that? What are some things that you do?
Honestly, and it may sound, when I do say this, it may sound hypocritical outside of what I just said, but I even during that time of whatever, I just started meditating and praying and affirmations. But
Mhm.
hey, I talk, I affirm stuff to myself or whatever. I just joined the affirmation group, a
Yes.
prayer meditation group on Facebook
Mhm.
or whatever. And, that may be, one-on-one time with, us in that group or whatever. And then, or just the whole group itself. And, do it here at the house, praying or whatever. And so, of course, spend time in the Word, spend time, praying to God, because that's just your one-on-one time with Him, and then that's, healing.
You're right. It's not cliche. I know you're like, gosh, we just said, okay, yes, but it's a daily thing.
It's a daily thing,
It's a daily
exactly.
thing. Cause you know, you be one
Mhm.
moment, you be good. The next moment,
Mhm.
what
You
that?
don't want to
See,
hear it,
you don't want to
exactly.
hear it. I don't want to hear that.
Mhm.
I get up every morning, Rufus,
Exactly.
with my girls. I got a fellowship, POTR sisters. I get on there with them every morning from Monday through Friday at 6:30 a.m. And we do our affirmations and we do our declaration and all of that, and we fellowship. And
Mhm.
some mornings I just don't want to do it. I just don't.
Mhm.
But I know that it's God that's waking me up. I mean, even
Mhm.
like you said, with meditating, like right after I get off the call with them, I go into my meditation because that just let alone just centers me. Like if I'm not
Mhm.
meditating or if I'm not doing something that is going to be productive to me, then I won't deal with it. And I think another thing you said is surrounding yourself with the right people as we're
Mhm.
growing. Sometimes we want to stick around the same people we either grew up with, best friends, your
Mhm.
family. But when God is crushing you or taking you through a season, He separates you. Um,
Exactly.
he definitely separates you because, like, this last couple of months, I've been very spaced out from my family, from my husband's family, and it's just really just been just me, him,
Mhm.
us,
Mhm.
and it's nothing's wrong. It's just that I knew that God was taking me through something that I didn't need to let outsiders dictate how I was gonna, come out of that. Um,
Mhm.
and I think that he's still doing that. I think he is.
Mhm.
I think he's, like I said, I think it's just the matter of knowing your season and knowing
Mhm.
what God is doing, knowing when God
Right.
is in the room.
Ex- Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just wanted to let people know that this is a process.
It
Um,
is.
anything that you do in life, like this, the world that we live in is definitely like a microwavable. I've said it before on here,
Mhm.
society. We want to get the business and we want to boom. We want
Mhm.
to go, like even people who go get surgery. Think about them. They go get that surgery and you still got to work out. Like, I'm just like,
Mhm.
why do you think you go get that surgery to lose weight? And I'm not throwing no shade at nobody, but you still got that skin. You still have to maintain. And that's what this whole episode is about, is pretty much knowing that it's a process. You're going to go through the
Right.
process so that you could go out and fly and be an eagle and soar.
Mhm. Right.
Right. But yeah, I just wanted to thank you so much, Rufus. Thank you so much
You're
for coming
welcome.
on the
You're
show
welcome.
today. We could talk about this all day, but we're gonna keep it short and sweet. Is there
Mhm.
anything that you could tell the audience? I love to end on a takeaway. I love
Mhm.
to let the audience know, the women and the men, give them some words of encouragement, and also, what do you think that they could do if they're going through this crushing season?
And I always end this even every episode on my, radio show. And it really helps. It really helps because is everybody see it all the time. It's this the three words: live, laugh, and love. And they see it all the time, but they don't see it broken down because it's a long phrase, and it's you live every day. Whenever you live, live, live life, live every day, laugh every moment, whatever chance you get, laugh, because that's healing. Live every day, live your life, live every day, laugh every moment, love God, love yourself, and love other people beyond words. And so I tell my listening audience that all the time. And so no matter what, going on in your life, always remember to live every day, laugh every moment, love God. And after you love God, love yourself first. Love yourself first, and then love other people beyond words. And so that is your, takeaway for this whole broadcast, and even, turning your pressure into power.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it, Rufus. I want to thank you so much
You're
for coming on the
welcome.
show. Let everybody know where they can find your talk show and where you're at on social media.
You can find me at the rh3show.com, and again, Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. And just click on the link on there, listen live. And so that's it. And I'm on social media, Facebook, Rufus Hobson the third, or so all social media platforms at the RH3 Show.
All right, I know that's right. Well, I just want to thank you. Thank you so much for coming
You're
on
welcome.
Truth Be Told podcast today. This is Brittany signing out. I love you, Rufus. This is
I love you
episode
too. I
number
appreciate you.
18, Pressure into Power. You guys have a good evening.